guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of R&D Garage. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting on my content. And for all of you who've joined in the beginning, joined along the way, still watching, thank you so much. So, pardon my voice a little bit for this video. We just came back from Sema a couple days ago, and I had a sore throat, which thankfully is gone, but now I'm still a little bit congested. There's so much cigarette smoke, and it just like, Anyway, but we had a blast. I hope you've been enjoying my shorts on that. Okay, but now we are back to the grandpa truck, and specifically rebuilding the carb. So you remember last time we took out the carb, we had begun to break it down. Well, we did the ultrasonic wash, we cleaned it out with wire brushes, we laid everything out so we can see if we're missing parts. Hint, we're not. And now we're gonna start to put her back together. And I'm so excited because there are a bunch of movie shoots coming up and they're gonna need my truck to run perfect. Let's get going. Okay, so before we begin, you're probably gonna hear a lot of Frenchy snorts, maybe like that, maybe a little cry for, let me out. We're working from home today. It was just a little too cold in the warehouse and it was kind of easier to lay everything out here. So to get to the parts on the workbench here, like I said, you notice I laid everything out. So over here, we have all the brand new parts. And over here, we have all the parts the carb came with and was put together with. And then of course, we have the brand new gaskets. Now, you'll notice some of the parts look a little bit similar. You're gonna have to basically separate them to where they came out. You know, like the floats, like the jets, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. As long as you have a nice, decent space to like lay everything out, you should be good to go. And of course, we've got schematics, we've got books, we've got everything we need to figure this stuff out. Let's get going. Okay, first of all, make sure you have proper documentation for the carb you're using. Now, you guys remember I told you about this little tag here that comes in all the carburetors. Well, if you're lucky. Sometimes it may get popped off in its life, sometimes it may get misplaced, sometimes someone will put on the wrong tag. Like in my year, 1969 360, basically it only came with a 2-barrel carb, but somewhere along the line, my grandpa or my uncle decided to swap it out with a 4-barrel carb. Now that's okay, you know, it should run even better that way, but it's not probably going to be in either one of these manuals. In fact, it's more likely to be in the Mustang manual because they shared the same carb. So, just a little hint. Now, as I said that we've laid everything out, we're going to start to swap in the new parts for old parts, basically right here on the table. So like this, we can kick out this guy here. Bye-bye. This, you can see, we can put this back on because these two, we're going to swap out for that. And then, of course, these two gaskets here, little teeny tiny guys, we're going to swap out for this broken one right here. Boop. And this guy right here. So I'm going to continue to do this and then we'll get started. So these new brass floats are actually pretty cool as opposed to the old polymer ones. These are basically only meant for one side. Like this is only meant for the right side and the other one is only meant for the left side. They will hit the wall or won't fit. So it's practically painless and you can't mess it up. Another cool thing that you're going to want to do when you first get these is submerge it in a bowl of water and shake it to make sure that no bubbles are coming out. That means there's no pinholes in them. Let's move on. Okay, so while you're still comparing parts and swapping out the old ones for new ones, you'll notice that some of the parts will look a little bit different. Like this, the needle, the seat, and the harness or the little clip. So I want to say they've actually improved them because remember with this, it basically goes in like that, and obviously the needle on this one is like rock hard, but this is what brings the fuel in. And so you'll notice it's like even more teeny weeny and it looks pretty cool. So yeah, so just, you know, even though the parts may look different, they're still correct. And with this, you actually get a choice of which clip you want to use, which is actually kind of cool. Okay. So before I begin to do all this, I just want to put out one last disclaimer. This is how I'm going to rebuild the carb from my truck. Your truck may be completely different. There are so many settings and so many different things you can do to rebuild these that if you have a certain year, certain model truck, please, please, please take this as maybe a how-to, but definitely check your manual, definitely check all the manuals you have, check forums for your specific truck, because I would hate to lead you astray, and I don't want your truck to blow up. Also, a couple things on this carb we did not do. The choke looked good, so we did not take that apart. If yours doesn't look so good, if it's leaking, if something's happening, you may want to do that. And of course, on the other side, the throttle plates. I didn't take these apart because they still looked good. However, if your screws are leaking, you may want to take these to a professional because if the screws drop out, they land in your motor and then you're completely hosed. So again, just this little disclaimer, you guys, I don't want to lead you astray, but this is more of a basic how to rebuild your carb. Man, it's like the stuffiness just kind of like affects my brain a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna get through this. Okay, so before we begin, it is super important that you have the correct tool. What I mean by that is you want something that's gonna fit these brass fittings perfectly. Like, well, I don't even know why I'm doing it like that, but okay, like this. You can almost keep it on. See, it's like a super tight fit. This is what you want. You don't want to come in with like a smaller tool and go, oh, it's good enough. And then you see it's like, whoa, super loosey-goosey. And you'll notice how it fell right there. That could fall into your motor. It could fall on the floor. You lose it forever. And then you're hosed. So again, make sure you find the correct tool, correct fitting, as much as possible tool, and then you're good to go. So you guys notice also in this carb, there are a ton of holes. Not only screw holes, but like little pass-through holes, teeny tiny holes, literally holes everywhere. If your truck has sat out in a field for like 20 years and you're just now getting around to rebuilding it, you may want to get a whole new carb altogether, because if it's super, super corroded, you may not have the pass-throughs that you think. Nothing may fit. It will be all rusted out. It'll be basically garbage, unfortunately. In California, it may not be such a big deal, but you know, Midwest, New York, you know, back east, I would definitely check into that before you start putting all the new parts back on, because you'll be basically chasing your tail. Okay, let's start with the jets. We got the primary jets and we have the secondary jets. These are 48s for the primaries and 57 for the secondaries. And so the primaries go in just like this. And luckily I have teeny tiny needle fingers, so I can just kind of drop them in there. Or so she thought. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna rail it in. There we go. When I say rail it in, I'm not gonna basically tighten it. I'm just kind of get it in there so it's in, but it's not like brutally in. And let's get the other guy in there. There we go. So sometimes there, it may even be easier to, oops. And if it doesn't seem to want to go in, do not force it. There we go. There we go. Oh, no. Okay. So the jets, you know what? I'm going to bring it just a little bit closer so it's easier. And you may have this same battle because it's also brand new parts in a, you know, old carb. Okay. So now we're going to do the secondary. And that seemed to go in like really, really well. Beautiful. Okay, I love you, secondary. I'm just gonna lean it in there. My screwdriver, beautiful. Ah, the squeak of new parts into old. And I'm gonna come back to that primary that just does not want to go in. I know you're mad that I ditched you for a couple weeks, but oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna figure out why this guy isn't going in, and then we're gonna move on. In case you're wondering, primary versus secondary. Okay, so this is kind of a cool way of thinking it. When you're just kind of cruising on the freeway speed, not looking to race anybody, not that you should be street racing in your truck or anything else, you're basically using only the primary. When you want to get on the freeway or you're trying to romp on it to maybe pass someone, that's when the secondary comes into play. So, easy way to think about it. Now we're going to put in the seats. So you've got the little tiny red gasket and the seat. So I'm going to put the gasket on top, and then those go in right there. And what's actually pretty cool, it's 3/8, and you don't need to use a flat blade. So you can just kind of go in and go like that. And again, don't hella snug them down right now. Okay, so that one's in. You can see it went in super simple. Now we're going to put on the other one on the other side. And again, if it doesn't want to go on right away, resist the urge to just fight it because you don't want to strip anything out. Okay, seats are in. Time for the floats and needles. Yay! Okay, so these are pretty simple to build. The only thing I actually had a little trouble with, just because my eyes are not what they used to be. So threading this little needle onto the needle, I guess little clip onto the needle, that could be a little bit of a bear. But anyway, once you got it on, you're gonna go ahead and hang it off of the float, just like this. There you go, like a little Christmas tree ornament. Then we're gonna go ahead and put that through the hole. But, oh, actually, what I wanted to tell you guys, if this doesn't thread through correctly through both holes, you want a little piece of blue Brillo and just kind of go ahead and kind of, rub it, sew it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. So we've got this, and that looks great. And then we're gonna hang the harness. And this, since it's like directional, you'll notice that you want it actually on the shorter side, at least for this side. And so what we're gonna do is come over and hang it on the notches. And so, just like this. Beautiful. Okay, so that one's done. I'm gonna come over to this one, which is also done. And what I'm gonna do is thread the needle into the seat. So just like this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put, hey, bam, just like that. It made a scary sound, but it's actually in. And when we're done with both sides, I'm gonna go ahead and pin this clip. You'll notice on the seat itself, it has a notch. What you're gonna do is take a little pair of pliers and make sure that this little clip is pinned on the other side in that notch. So that's what you wanna do. Yay. So let's go ahead and fit this guy in. There we go, we thread the needle. Put that in and bam. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those clips in or clip the clips in and we're good to go. So this is a job where none of the parts you wanna put in brutally, as funny as it sounds. So the needle, the tip of it is Viton rubber, which is a gas resistant rubber. Makes sense. So when you're putting the clip together or when you're putting this whole thing together and you're adjusting the arm, you don't want to completely rail it because you will damage the tip. You may damage the float itself. And it's just a very delicate process. So make sure you have enough time to do this completely right. Otherwise you'll be doing it again. Okay, here's a little more trivia for you guys. These are called fuel bowls. And basically when the needle is seated into the seat, no fuel is going to be coming in, even though the fuel pump keeps going and going, because that means the fuel, there's more than enough fuel that the truck can handle. So once the fuel is being used, the needle will unseat just a little bit, more fuel will go into the bowl, and you're good to go. Okay guys, so thanks to this handy dandy adjustment data table, I can go ahead and measure my 2 floats. Now, I already did, so, and I'm not going to tell you the measurement because it's going to be totally different from your truck than it is from mine. We just fed them, so they're like, yeah. Anyway, so you're going to need 2 straight edge rulers, and you can put them together basically like this with the correct measurement. Make sure the needle is seated when you measure, super important, and then you just kind of go like that. You guys know how to measure if you're rebuilding a carb. Okay, so it turns out this one is a little bit low and this one's a little bit high. So the way we're gonna go ahead and adjust that is never by the float itself, but only by the little tab, this guy here. So we're either gonna bend it a little bit forward or a little bit back, but we're gonna make sure that they're absolutely perfect. Okay guys, well my throat, my voice is getting froggier and froggier, so I'm gonna let it go right there. But I'm gonna be picking this back up tomorrow. So there will most likely be at least 3 or 4 videos on the carb rebuild this week. At any rate, I hope this helps you out. I think it's a little easier to do this in chunks. That way you don't have to watch like a 45-minute video to find the one spot you need. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching R&D Garage. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please hit that red button. You'll really make my day and perhaps even cure me. But until tomorrow, thank you guys.